So we had a couple kids who were interested in learning how to put on a button for like little button eyes and things like that. So we thought we'd do a quick little tutorial on how to do it. For a 4-hole button like this, it's going to be very, very similar to a cross stitch done on top of itself several times. Over here, this is going to be essentially a single stitch multiple times. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with this one that looks more like a cross stitch. I'm going to put my button about where I want it on my fabric, and I'm going to hold it in place by pinching it. You're going to see how my hand wraps around kind of the whole edge of my hoop so I can hold it from the back and from the front just to hold it in place for a bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up in one of my corners. I'm going to go down in the opposite corner, kitty corner. Just like I always do, I'm going to split my thread on the back right ahead of that needle so that whenever I pull tight, I know this is never going to come undone. Could I end it here? Yes. Is that a smart plan? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come straight back up to one of my unused corners. I'm going to go down in the opposite corner. I'm going to do this another 2 times. Same exact pattern. Start in the upper corner, come to the opposite. One more over here. Boop, boop. And down again. And one more time up in this same corner. Now, if you have smaller buttonholes, you might only be able to get through there twice, or you might only be able to use a smaller size needle. But in this particular case, this should be just fine with 3. And if you can do 3, do 3. Now, to be completely and 100% honest, if I am just using this as a decorative button, I'm going to tie it off here on the back just like I normally do. I'm going to slide under one of these threads right here, or one of these stitches right here. Go underneath. Yes, I know you're very tight. You're very upset. Go through. There we go. I'm going to pull through. There's going to be a little loop. Go through that twice. Pull tight. If this is not a decorative button, this is a button that you need for using, you're going to end slightly differently. So my last stitch was coming from over here to under here. And if I were going to be using this as a button that actually needs to work with a buttonhole, the last time I go through, I'm not going to go through my fabric. I'm going to go through right here. Come on. Like so. And I'm going to go around this button just a couple of times to help raise it off of the surface of my fabric so that your other layer of fabric has somewhere to sit. And then in order to knot it off, you're going to see that there's a lot of fabric or a lot of threads going through right here. And you're going to go through the middle of that batch of threads. And this can be difficult, especially whenever you have really thick needle like I do. Come on, go through. Hook onto one of those threads right there. Like so. And then this is the loop that you're going to go through 1, 2 times and pull tight. Again, you only do it that way if this is something that's going to be worn on a piece of fabric and you're actually needing the buttonhole to work. All right. So for a 2-hole button, it's going to be extremely similar to this. Almost no change. I'm going to take my button. I'm going to hold it where I want it using my thumb. In this particular case, I might need to reach from over here, but that's fine. I'm going to come up one of my holes, like so, down the other hole. And just like I always do, split in the back before the knot to lock it all in place. And then just like I did with my previous button, I'm going to do that same exact pattern of through one hole, out the other, 2 more times. With a 2 button hole, The only reason you need to make sure that you're following the same direction is because if you go the opposite direction between one of your repetitions, then it is very possible that you will undo your previous stitch. So, you know, don't do that. Now this one I am going to keep purely decorative, so I'm just going to come to the back, go underneath my stitch, go through my loop 1 time, 2 time, pull tight, and snip. And there I have 2 buttons.